I'm coming to y'all live and raw. Try to run away from something, it always finds you. Well, I think that's what happened with me. It's funny because I never realized how difficult, I don't want to say difficult, but how different it is to talk on camera. It's like all my thoughts are in my head and then trying to get it out. But it's funny how they say when you try to run away from something, it always finds you. Well, I think that's what happened with me subconsciously or unconsciously, rather. I was running away from something, didn't know it, didn't realize it until it finally caught up to me. And it caught up to me in another country, in Mexico. It caught up to me when I was in Costa Rica, but the majority of the time I've been out of the country has been in Mexico. And it caught up to me. Me not speaking up for myself, me standing up for what I feel, it caught up to me. Because what wound up happening was my heart was hurting because I wasn't speaking my truth. I wasn't speaking what I was really feeling. And that feeling is very strange and heart-wrenching, and it almost feels like, am I going to recover from this? And I've recovered, but sitting in that emotion and that feeling, and I have been sitting in it for a really long time. So basically what happens when you're in the United States, you have a bunch of noise going on. It's a lot of outside noise going on to where it can be kind of difficult to really hear your own voice. And so therefore, you're not able, therefore you're rather, don't necessarily deal with the things that are important or that need to be healed or addressed. Well, when you come out of the United States, the noise is gone. And especially if you're in another country that speaks a different language. So you're not picking up on those conversations, hearing what they have going on. You're not really in the political atmosphere of things. You're really focusing on what's going on in the place that you're staying at. So what winds up happening is all of that energy that was going outwards before, it's now being turned inwards to where you're hearing your own voice. You're hearing that voice that was whispering, that couldn't be heard because there was so much outside noise. Well, when you come into like an almost isolation place, your inner voice gets really loud. And it's like almost screaming because, it's been dormant. It's been ignored for a really long time. So that's what happened to me. My inner voice was screaming to me. And I never realized how loud it was until, like I said, until I came to Mexico. And that feeling, oh my gosh, it was almost like you were holding on to this deep, dark secret. And it had been like 5-10 years you've been holding this deep secret. And people have been asking you about the secret, but you can't tell the secret. And basically it just starts eating you alive. Like that's what it felt like. I don't know. Maybe that's what heartbreak feels like. I was breaking my own heart because I wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't hearing myself. And once I finally did hear what I had to say, and then I spoke out on what my inner self wanted to say, it was freeing. It like literally transported me into, I know it's a catchphrase, but it literally transported me into a different timeline. Like, it took me to almost someone unrecognizable. I didn't even know that was me. Like, what I was feeling. Like, damn, I'm capable of that. Yeah, you are. You really are. You're capable. You're strong. You're self-confident. All of the above. And it had been screaming at you the whole time. I must say, I'm happy that I heard myself. I listened to myself, because now I'm actually being myself. Being my true authentic self, being me. And it feels great. Now it feels a little like, this is uncharted water. I'm trying to keep my head on a swivel, because it's like, I don't know what's about to pop up. But what I know is about to pop up is like great things. It doesn't feel dreadful or like, oh no, you shouldn't have done that. It has none of that negative attachment to it. It's free, and it's freeing. But yeah, you can't run away from your shit. Your shit's gonna catch up to you. And a lot of times when your shit catches up to you, it's backed up shit. It's like a whole lot of shit. But the cool thing is that you have more perspective. You have different angles because you've had experiences. And then especially if you're, like I said, if you're in like almost in the isolation type of location, you really get to dive into like, okay, now why did I do that? Oh, that's why I did that, because that was what was going on. Like, I'm still a little wary about sharing personal information about myself, because it's like, once the shit is out there, it's out there. I can't pull it back. But I do feel compelled to give a little bit of insight of my personal. So something that was an epiphany almost was that I was running from something, and I ran to something else thinking it was going to be safe. But in actuality, it downgraded me. It downgraded me because I wind up holding my tongue. Like, and the funny thing is that quite a few people that know me, it's like, I'm not shy, but I'm an introvert, but an extrovert in the sense of I'll speak what's on my mind. And the thing that I ran to that I thought was going to be safe, that's what happened. I stopped speaking my mind. I've stopped telling it or saying how I was feeling. And I don't know, maybe I'm having an epiphany now, maybe because it was the thing that I ran to that was safe was almost seen as I don't want to put a label on it, but an authority figurehead. So, growing up, those authority figureheads were the ones where I felt like, all right, I got to keep quiet. That ain't bothering me, just got to keep it pushing, keep it moving. Where amongst my peers, people around my age, where it's like, oh, I'll tell it like how it is, blase, blase. Well, and it's like, wow, you know? So all I know is if you got something to deal with it, deal with it. And when you got something that you need to deal with, because that shit will pop up like, be like, hey, how you doing? Like, it would literally pop up in the sense of I don't know how many people watching TV these days, but you'll be like watching something on TV and the commercial will be about what you need to deal with, or the news story that night will be about what you need to deal with or what you need to address. So I'm telling you, deal with it so that later on down the road it can save some heartache. You can make different choices, different decisions that will be beneficial for you or anyone else that's around you. Now, do I regret any of my experiences? No, not at all. It's just, I guess you can say the Scorpion me, the fixed stubbornness. It was being a little hard-headed and not really, taking heed to the lesson. So learn from me and deal with what you got to deal with, because in the long end, it will be beneficial for you to get to where you're trying to go, to get to your dreams and your accomplishments and your goals that you want to achieve in this lifetime. Like, I know what I'm about to say sounds bad, but I literally felt like that was it was a block it was a block on the path that I was trying to get to. And not like a bad block. Maybe a detour, but it was, I could definitely, how like in the rivers you got like there's no debris, no rocks, no nothing. The joint's just flowing, flowing, right? Like, that's where I'm at now. Before, like, there were some rocks, and the rocks was messing with my flow, like my flow of things. And now the rocks is gone. That's what it feels like. It feels like the rocks are gone, man. They gone. And I can just flow down this river and just be cruising, no obstructions. Well, of course, there's going to be a little hiccup here and there, but I got that. And you got that too. So, like I said, deal with what you got to deal with to get to where you're trying to go. And if that means, you gotta, now I'm at a loss for words. See, that's why this talking on this camera thing is a little different for me. I'm more of a journaler. Is that that's a word, right? I know journalist, but journaler. Yeah, I'm better with my words by writing them down. It's funny, it's like I can see my thoughts transcribing in my brain, but then trying to take that transcription and put it into a video form. I mean, yeah, people would say, sorry, this is like off topic, but people would say, oh, that's a script. Yeah, I've tried the script and I'm not a fan because it doesn't feel organic. Yeah, it's organic because it's my words, but like the delivery, like being on the camera. It's almost like freestyling, like how that shit should just be coming off, and you be feeling my vibe and stuff like that. Like that's how I feel like it should be, not and today and like teleprompter. Nah, like I said, I've tried it and I feel fraudulent when I try it. I'm not knocking it for other people, but for me, I felt like, all right, is that you? Is that really you? But back on topic. Nah, man, that shit gonna find you. It gonna find you. And when it finds you, you better be ready. So that's why you need to deal with it. When you be feeling it, just deal with it so you can be like, all right, that's done with. I can move on and further along in my path. That's it. I just wanted to share that with you. I know it may seem kind of vague, but if you have any questions or if you know where I'm coming from, go ahead and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you guys. And hey, it's your girl, Shantae Renee. Trying to keep it real. Yeah, and scarf and all. Until next time.